Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be working on paper embellishments. I'm super excited to do this. It was a lot of fun, so please enjoy this video. This floral stamp I had gotten with a magazine from Joann's. I'm going to stamp the image down with some archival black ink, the same ink that I used in my previous video. After I stamp this image down onto these white cardstock embellishment pieces, I'm going to color them in with these shimmery gel pens. The gel pens, I tried to get the colors as close to the cardstock that I will also be using with these embellishments, but they are a little off. The colors that I chose is like a little dark pink, kind of a red, an orange color, and then two different greens. It's a bluish green color and a light green color. And now that the image is filled in with color, I'm going to go around this border here and kind of randomly color with like all the 4 different colors just around the border to make it pop just a little bit more. Here's the embellishment piece, all colored in. The border is colored, and I went ahead before the video and colored and stamped 3 other pieces. With this embellishment piece, I'm going to start with some leftover tulle, and I'm just gonna cut little bits and pieces, and I'm trying not to get them too big, and I'm gonna lay it down, see where I want it to be. I had cut some pieces from the scraps of the cardstock and from the leftover pieces from the embellishments that I had cut out. And now I'm going to find some thread here, some embroidery thread, and the colors that kind of match. And I'm just going to take them and break them up into little pieces. When they're in smaller strings than what they were, I'm going to kind of gently gather them together and put some tacky glue down and just place them lightly where I am going to be putting these little bitty pieces of paper, and I think I'm going to put a button here as well. What I decided to do here is take my white gel pen and go around this orange paper cutout just to make it pop a little bit. And I'm going to glue it down right over this thread and kind of spread them out a little bit so they're not all clumped together. Now this is where I took the little piece of tulle and I decided to glue it just right on top of the thread in this little piece of orange circle. And right here, I think I'm going to put this pink heart on top of it. I don't think I'm going to do a button. And I'm going to place it where I like it. And I'm going to take my white gel pen and trace around the edge just like I did with that orange circle, just to make it pop. And here's this embellishment. This one is finished. Now I'm going to move on to the next one. Another piece that I had colored before the video started. And I think I'm going to use some of these banners that I had made from the scraps. And I'm going to use my white gel pen just like I did with the last one and just go around these colored pieces of cardstock to make them pop out a little more. Before I glue them down, I like to place them around to kind of see where I want them before they are permanently glued down. I tried many different positions to where I can put these to see which one looks better. And before I put them in the position I want, I grab a button and to see if it looks good with it, and I grab some thread to match it, and I'm going to use the thread and put it through the button and kind of tie a little knot, and then I'm going to spread out these little pieces of the thread. Okay, now I'm going to glue them down, just like how I had them, with the blue piece first, and then I'm going to put the green piece right on top of it, but not to where it's too matched up. What I like about this tacky glue is that it doesn't dry instantly, so I can kind of move my pieces around and get them where I want them before they start to dry. And I'm going to glue this button down right in the center of these banners and cut these long pieces of thread just a little bit shorter so they're not too long. And before I finish this, I'm going to take my white gel pen and kind of fix little spots that I had missed. And now this embellishment is done, and I'm going to put it to the side to dry with the other one and start with the next one. This is another banner that I cut out from the scraps, and I'm kind of just putting them with other colors and putting them with other pieces of scraps that I had made to see which one looks better. Now, last time I put the white border around these little pieces first and then decided where I wanted them, but I decided to put the white border around it after I decided where to put them. I don't really have a plan. I didn't even plan to put the white border on until I started making these. And I'm going to use this tacky glue and just put a little bit on there and glue it on. I'm going to find another white button. I liked how the other button that I used was like a pearl color, so I think I'm going to stay with that pearly button look, and I'm going to grab some orange thread and some green thread just to match the little banners that I had picked out. I really like to get a lot of use out of these little pieces of thread. So I take all the teeny tiny pieces of thread that are wound up together and break them apart and then bring them back together to kind of make them into these little groups and kind of glue them down around. I think this one I did little pieces of 3 and just glued them around to where they're randomly like in a little circle. And I'm just going to glue the button right on top of the string, and then I'm going to spread out the thread so they're not sticking together. And here's this one. This one is completely finished, and then I'm gonna start with the next one. Again, here I picked some pieces of scrap, and I think I did more than 2 this time. I think I did 3 or 4, and I'm placing them to see where I like them. And before I glue them down, I am going to go around the border with white on all of them. And I'm going to use some tulle again and put this little diamond piece right on top of these 3 little scrap pieces. Now I'm going to start with the colored cardstock that have been cut out. Here I'm showing you the little scraps and pieces that I have used. And I'm just going to do what I did with the last 4 and just place them where they look good. And the glue that I'm using is tacky glue. I showed them to you in the other video. And I'm going to glue them down real quick. Okay, I picked out some orange embroidery thread here, and I'm going to pick out a button. And here is my huge collection of buttons. And what I'm going to do with this orange thread is I'm going to put them through the holes on the buttons. And when I do this, I like to use the buttons that have the 2 holes on them and not 4 holes. And I'm just going to tie a couple knots on here. And then I'm going to take these little pieces on the thread and kind of break them apart. Alright, I'm going to put the button down and see where I want the button to be. And I see that these pieces of thread are a little bit long, so I'm just going to go around and cut them just a little bit so they're not hanging over the card base. And I'm going to make sure that these threads are spaced out, and I'm going to put some tacky glue on the button on the bottom and gently put it in the center of this little diamond piece. Now here is when I realized that I didn't put a white border around any of the pieces, so I'm going to go ahead and get that done. It was kind of difficult going around the borders of all these pieces after they were all glued down, so I'm going to try to not make that mistake again. And then I decided just to put some dots on the card base just to give it a little something more. And then I decided to take my silver shimmery gel pen and go over those white dots so there's a little bit of shine and glitter on these pieces of embellishment. Now I'm pretty much going to be doing the same thing here with all the rest of the colored cardstock, but this time I'm going to go around the borders with the white gel pen first before I start gluing everything down. Now here's the green piece, And just like I did the last one, I'm going to find these little pieces of scrap that I had made and put them down where I want them. I'm going to try to use all the colors that go along with this set of embellishments and kind of put them where I want them. And then I'm going to pick out some embroidery thread that goes with it. Here I'm going to do the green embroidery thread, and I'm going to break them apart just like I did with the rest of them. And before I glue these little pieces of scrap on, I'm going to go around it with white, just like the others. I accidentally messed up on the heart, so I just threw it out and grabbed another piece of it and just redid it. And here I decided to take these little pieces of thread and kind of glue them on the back of this heart into like little bows. And just like the last embellishment, I'm going to go around with my white gel pen and make little dots, and then I'm going to go over it again with the silver gel pen to bring a little sparkle and a little shine to it. And I just added a little dot in the center of this heart too, just to add a little something. And here is this embellishment that is finished, so I'm going to put it to the side and start working on the last one. Now this base is pink, and I decided to go with another one of these diamond pieces. And as I pull these pieces out, I am going around the border. Like I said, I really didn't have a plan on what I was going to do, so I'm just doing it randomly. So every time was a little different. On this little diamond piece, there were teeny tiny little hearts and some dots on there. So I decided to take my white gel pen and go over these two hearts and these two dots in the center. And I think I'm going to take the silver gel pen and go over them as well. Now I'm going to place these on here before I glue them down to see what looks best. And now I'm going to glue them down pretty quickly now that I have an idea of where I want them. And I'm going to pick some embroidery thread. I think I picked the orange one, and I accidentally forgot to go over this with the silver gel pen, so that's what I'm doing now. And I'm taking the embroidery thread and kind of just breaking them apart and making them into smaller pieces. And I'm picking them up together and kind of making them the same length, and then I'm kind of making it into a little bow. And I decided to divide it in half, and I'm going to glue it onto the back of this diamond and make it into a little bow. And then I'm going to glue this whole piece down. And these strings are pretty long, so I am going to cut them off. Alright, and I'm going to spread out these little pieces of string so they're not clumped together. And just like the others, I'm going to take my white gel pen and I'm going to go around the base of the card. Now this one is just like that diamond piece. It has those two hearts next to each other and the two little dots. So I'm just going to do that instead of just putting little dots around. And then I'm going to take this silver gel pen and go over it to make it a little sparkle or a little shine. And here it is. Here's the finished one. Now we had one more to do, but I accidentally lost that footage. I'm not quite sure what happened. Okay, here are all the finished embellishments. Here are the colored cardstock ones. And here's the blue one that I told you that I had missed, that I had lost the footage of. And then we have the orange one, the pink one, and then we have the stamped ones that I had colored in with the gel pens. And that'll be it for this video, and thank you for watching. If you like this video, hit the like button, and if you would like to, hit the subscribe button as well. And please stay tuned for my next video, and have a great day.